The command leave it can be potentially life-saving for your dog. If, for example, you drop something on the floor, this could be a piece of food that's healthy for your dog, but it could also be a piece of chocolate or a pill. The take it command, on the other hand, is a cue for your dog that he is allowed to take a specific object. This also teaches your dog to take things gently from you. In this video, I'll teach you how to train your dog to leave it or take it. During this video, I'll be using food as a reward since it is of high value for most dogs. We will be staging some scenes in order to teach your dog how to perform when something unexpectedly happens. By preparing your dog in a controlled environment, you'll be able to ensure yourself that your dog listens when it really matters. First off, take it. The first step in teaching the take it command is teaching your dog to take things gently from you. You don't want your dog to bite your hand when you want to give him a treat. One of the easiest ways to start is to feed your dog by hand. So you measure out his daily portion of kibble, you take it and feed him by hand. Every time you feed your dog or you give them a piece of kibble, you tell them to take it. This will be the first association with the take it command. You say take it and they get the kibble. One rule to implement here, however, is that your dog should take the piece of food politely. This means he should be gentle while taking the piece of food or a treat from your hand. Whenever your dog would be getting too excited to take the treat or a piece of food, simply close your hand and wait for your dog to calm down. What a lot of people seem to do is to give an extra cue for their dog when they need to be gentle. Like they tell their dog, gently, gently, or easy, easy. Well, this isn't necessarily wrong. It's often used incorrectly. When constantly giving your dog this verbal cue to take it gently, your dog will learn that after the cue gentle or easy, he should take the piece of food gently. But when during a training session, for example, you don't give them the cue gently or easy, they might start nipping your hand again. You can also provide your dog with some simple feedback when they're getting too rough when taking the food. For example, you can mark the behavior with a simple or nope in a calm voice. Be sure to use a calm voice because if you are getting frustrated, it will be harder and harder for your dog to calm down. Especially since when you become frustrated, your feedback becomes worthless. Your dog will get hyped up and it will be harder and harder for him to control himself. Of course, make sure to reward your dog when they take a piece of food gently. While the food in itself is a reward, you want your dog to react to your voice. This will become a big part of the training. So, mark the behaviors you want your dog to perform. Teaching the leave it command. First part of teaching your dog to leave it is fairly straightforward. Once again, take a piece of kibble and present it to your dog. Then, give your dog the cue to leave it. Obviously, if it's the first time you're training this, your dog will try to grab the treat. So simply close your hand and mark the behavior with a nope or to make it clear to your dog that you do not want him to perform like that. Then, once your dog backs off or hesitates for a moment, open your hand once again, and if he stays backed off or waits for a second, mark the behavior, good boy, good girl, say take it, and give your dog a treat. Do not make the mistake of repeating your leave it command more than once. Also, do not pull away the treat or the piece of food if your dog tries to take it. Often, by pulling away your hand, your dog will be more eager to follow through. Look at all of your dog's behaviors as decisions. You want to reward your dog for making the right decisions. The same goes for training the leave it command. If your dog makes the right decision to leave the piece of food, make sure to reward him for it. As I said before, make sure to reward your dog immediately at first. Once your dog gets more reliable with the leave it command, you can start by increasing the duration until you give him the treat. Then it's time to bring different types of items into the training. You can use your dog's favorite toy or some high value treats to level up the training. Dogs are often drawn towards toilet paper, tissues, or toilet paper rolls, so make sure to include these in your training sessions. There's one change in the training from this point on, however. Before, your dog got a treat after he learned to leave it, so it was more like a wait command. Now you will teach your dog to not take it at all. So at first, sit yourself next to your dog and place something on the floor that your dog is not allowed to touch, but something he really wants to. Then tell your dog to leave it. If your dog would approach the object, simply block your dog's pathway towards the object by your hand and mark the behavior with an or nope. If your dog would show some restraint, make sure to mark that wanted behavior and reward your dog. Prepare for the unexpected but bound to happen moments. One of these moments is when you drop something on the floor. In order to train this, you can stage a cooking scene. By staging this scene, you can assure yourself that your full attention is towards your dog. There is no stove on, there is no fire on. Everything can happen in a safe environment. Make sure to have some treats on the counter with you. Then start by cutting up some vegetables and accidentally drop a piece. If your dog would move towards the piece of food that you dropped, make sure to mark the behavior, leave it. If your dog shows restraint, reward your dog with a treat. Then pick up the piece of food you dropped and throw it away. Your dog does not get the piece of food you dropped. If you train this often, your dog will start to look up at you whenever you drop something, which keeps him safe. If you have a dog that's having a hard time making the right decisions during these training sessions, you can always put a leash on your dog. By putting a leash on your dog, you'll be able to hold them back or pull them back once they move towards the object. Only training these behaviors inside of your home will not guarantee that your dog will listen to you when you tell them to leave it while on a walk. That's why you should train this in a lot of different environments. You can start by generalizing this behavior by putting something on the floor during a walk and using the same methods as you used indoors, but now outdoors. You can also enjoy a picnic outside. This is a nice combination of teaching your dog to leave it and enjoying a picnic in the outdoors.